Let's talk about angles. Think about the following. Atticus stated the measure of angle B is greater than the measure of angle A. The sides are longer. Is Atticus correct? Why or why not? What feature of the angles is Atticus focusing on? Remember, Atticus says the measure of angle B is greater than the measure of angle A. The sides are longer. So Atticus is incorrect. He's focusing on the length of the rays that form the angle. So he's looking at these lengths, and he says, since these rays are longer, then angle B must be larger than angle A. How about this one? Think about the following. Scout stated the measure of angle B is greater than the measure of angle A. I measured it. See? Is Scout correct? What feature is Scout focusing on? Remember, Scout is saying the measure of angle B is greater than the measure of angle A because he measured it. See? Is Scout correct? What feature is Scout focusing on? Scout's using the ruler to measure this part of these rays. Is that the angle? Scout's incorrect. He's focused on the linear distance between points on the rays. So let's define angles. What is the measure of an angle, for example 1 degree or 30 degrees, actually measuring? Some definitions of an angle include the following: as a geometric figure formed by two rays meeting at a common endpoint, or as a wedge or a space between two rays. Another way to describe an angle is as a representation of it as a turn or rotation. Use this interpretation to describe and sketch an angle whose measure is 540 degrees. Think about that for a couple minutes. What would that look like? Did you draw something like this? This is one possibility. Where would we get 540 degrees from this picture? Well, if we start here and we go all the way around, then we're at 360 degrees. And then if we go another 90 and then another 90, we would be at 540 degrees. So that's when this definition of a turn or a rotation is very helpful. And it's helpful in further geometry as well. Try this activity. So use a straight edge, but don't use a protractor. Okay, just think about how you know if your sketches are accurate or you're approximating these. So sketch these angles. How would you do it? How would you show 18 degrees? What previous information could you use that would help you draw those? How about 121 degrees? Or 58? Or 277 degrees? Or 45 degrees? After you sketch them without using a protractor, measure them, see how accurate you were. Are you able to mathematically justify how you drew your picture? This is a great activity for students to make sure they're understanding what degrees are measuring and what angles look like. How do you measure with a protractor? What makes this tool confusing to use? Now, some of you might even be wondering, what is a protractor? Because we confuse this tool because we don't use it very often, and it's not often taught. It's assumed we've used it before. So here's how you use a protractor. It's used to measure or draw angles. You place the center point of the protractor on the angle's vertex. You align the protractor with the bottom ray, right here. You read the angle's measure by finding where the top ray crosses the protractor. And you do need to understand you have some knowledge when you're going from here to here, make sure you're using these bottom numbers because they start at 0 and go up. If we were trying to measure an obtuse angle or an angle from this direction, we would start here and count our way up. So don't get confused with that. And the measurement will always be in degrees, and it's written with that little symbol. So angle, the measure of angle ABC, remember we have to have the vertex in the middle of an angle when we're naming it, is 75 degrees. So remember, you can have several definitions of an angle. One is a representation of a turn or a rotation. Another is an intersection of two rays at a common vertex. And a third is the space between two rays. Think about and compare and contrast these three interpretations. What are the benefits of each and what are the drawbacks? It's important for us to think about how we define things so we help students develop their conceptual understanding. Thanks for watching.